The difference between religion and spirituality. Can you be spiritual without being religious? Is it possible to be both religious and spiritual at the same time? And what really is the difference between the two? These are questions I get asked all the time. And honestly, there's a lot of confusion around this topic because people tend to use these words as if they meant the same thing. But in reality, they're quite different. And here's the most interesting part. Understanding the difference between religion and spirituality isn't just an intellectual exercise. It can completely transform the way you see your own path, your search for meaning, and your connection to something greater than yourself. So today, we're going to clear this up in the clearest and most honest way possible. No judgments, no claiming that one is better than the other. Just clarity. Welcome back to the channel. What is spirituality? Udim. If you're new here, this channel is dedicated to exploring spiritual concepts with honesty, depth, and accessibility. If that resonates with you, hit the subscribe button. And let's dive in together. What is religion? Let's start with religion, because most of us grew up with some exposure to religion, whether we practice it now or not. At its core, religion is an organized system of beliefs, practices, and moral codes that's typically centered around the worship of a higher power or divine being. Religion usually comes with a specific structure, a set of rules, sacred texts, rituals, and often a community of believers who share the same faith. Think about the major world religions. Christianity, Islam, Judaism, Hinduism, Buddhism. Each one has its own holy books, its own traditions, its own way of understanding the divine, its own moral guidelines for how to live. Religion is communal. It brings people together under a shared belief system. You go to church, or the mosque, or the temple, or the synagogue. You participate in collective worship. You follow teachings that have been passed down through generations, sometimes for thousands of years. Religion provides structure. It tells you what to believe, how to practice, what's right and wrong according to that particular faith tradition. It gives you a roadmap. It says, this is the path to salvation, to enlightenment, to heaven, to union with God. And here's something important. Religion can be incredibly beautiful and powerful. It creates community. It preserves ancient wisdom. It gives people moral guidance. It offers comfort in times of suffering. It provides rituals that mark important life transitions. It connects us to something larger than ourselves and to generations of seekers who came before us. I'm not here to diminish religion. For billions of people around the world, religion is the foundation of their lives, their values, their connection to the divine. And that's beautiful. But religion also has some specific characteristics that distinguish it from spirituality. And we need to understand those differences. What is spirituality? Now let's talk about spirituality. Spirituality is your personal, individual relationship with something greater than yourself. It's not about following a specific religion or doctrine. It's about your own direct experience of the sacred, the divine, the transcendent, whatever you want to call it. Spirituality is internal. It's about what you feel, what you experience, what you know in your heart and soul to be true. It's not about what someone else tells you to believe. It's about what you discover for yourself. Spirituality doesn't require a building or a specific day of the week or a particular ritual. It can happen anywhere, anytime. It's the moment you feel connected to something infinite while watching a sunset. It's the peace you find in meditation. It's the sense of oneness you experience in nature. It's the inner knowing that there's more to existence than what we can see and touch. Spirituality is flexible and personal. Two spiritual people might have completely different practices, completely different beliefs, completely different ways of connecting to the divine. And that's okay. There's no rule book. There's no authority figure telling you you're doing it wrong. Spirituality asks questions. It explores, it seeks. It's comfortable with mystery and not knowing. It says, I don't have all the answers, but I'm open to discovering truth wherever I find it. D, where religion often says, this is the truth, believe it. Spirituality says, what is true for you? What resonates in your soul? What brings you closer to your authentic self and to the divine? Spirituality is the journey itself, not the destination. It's not about getting to heaven or achieving enlightenment according to someone else's definition. It's about the ongoing process of awakening, growing, evolving, and deepening your connection to yourself, to others, to nature, to the universe, to God, however you understand that. The key differences. So now that we understand the basics, let's break down the specific differences. And remember, these are generalizations. There are always exceptions and nuances, structure versus freedom. Religion provides structure, rules, and guidelines. You know what's expected of you. You know what the tradition teaches. You follow the path that's been laid out. Spirituality gives you freedom to find your own way. You create your own practices. You follow your own inner guidance. You're not bound by dogma or doctrine. Community versus individual religion is communal. It brings people together in shared worship, shared beliefs, shared practices. There's a congregation, a community, a sense of belonging to something larger. Spirituality is personal. It's your individual journey. You might connect with others who are also on a spiritual path, but there's no requirement to believe exactly what they believe or practice exactly how they practice. External authority versus inner authority. Religion typically has external authority. There's a priest, a rabbi, an imam, a guru, a holy text, a church hierarchy. Someone or something outside of you tells you what's true, what's right, what to believe. Spirituality places authority within you. Your inner knowing, your intuition, your direct experience is the ultimate authority. You're encouraged to trust yourself, to listen to your own soul. Rules versus principles. Religion often comes with specific rules. Do this, don't do that. These things are sins. These things are virtuous. There's a moral code that's clearly defined. Spirituality works more with principles than rules. It's about intentions, about consciousness, about growing in love, compassion, and awareness. It trusts you to figure out how to live those principles in your unique life. Belief versus experience. Religion often emphasizes belief. Believe in God, believe in these teachings. Have faith in things you cannot see or prove. Spirituality emphasizes direct experience. Don't just believe what someone tells you. Experience it for yourself. Your spiritual experiences are what matter, not your ability to accept certain beliefs. One path versus many paths. Many religions teach that their path is the path, the only way to salvation or truth. This creates a sense of exclusivity. You're in or you're out. Spirituality recognizes many paths. It honors that different people, different cultures, different souls might connect to the divine in different ways. All paths that lead to love, growth, and truth are valid. The overlap and the confusion. Now here's where it gets interesting and where people often get confused. You can be religious and spiritual. In fact, the most beautiful religious practice happens when people go beyond just following rules and actually experience the divine presence that their religion points to. Think about it. Christianity teaches about a personal relationship with God through Jesus. That's deeply spiritual. Islam teaches about direct submission to Allah and experiencing divine presence. That's spiritual. Buddhism emphasizes direct experience of enlightenment through meditation. That's spiritual. Hinduism talks about union with the divine self. That's spiritual. At their core, all religions began with someone's profound spiritual experience. Jesus had mystical experiences. Buddha had enlightenment. Muhammad received divine revelation. The founders of religions were deeply spiritual people. But over time, what often happens is that the spiritual experience gets codified into religious structure. The living experience becomes organized doctrine. The direct connection becomes mediated through priests and rituals and rules. And this is where the split happens. Some people find that the religious structure helps them access the spiritual experience. The rituals, the community, the teachings, they support their personal connection to the divine, but other people find that the religious structure gets in the way. It becomes more about following rules than experiencing the divine, more about belief than connection, more about the institution than the inner journey. And that's when people start to say, "I'm spiritual but not religious." What they usually mean is, "I believe in something greater than myself. I want a connection to the divine, but I don't want the dogma, the rules, the judgment, or the structure of organized religion." Neither is better. And here's what's crucial to understand. Neither approach is better than the other. If you find deep meaning, genuine connection to the divine, and authentic spiritual growth within a religious tradition, that's beautiful. Keep doing that. Religion, at its best, is a sacred container for spiritual experience. If you find your deepest connection to the divine through your own personal spiritual practice outside of organized religion, that's equally valid. Spirituality at its best is authentic, direct, and transformative. The problem only arises when religion becomes empty ritual without the spiritual experience behind it. When it's just going through motions, following rules without understanding why, believing things because you're told to rather than because you've experienced their truth. Or when spirituality becomes wishy-washy, lacking any discipline or depth, just picking and choosing whatever feels good without any real commitment to growth or truth. The best of religion is deeply spiritual, and the best of spirituality often incorporates wisdom from religious traditions. What matters most? So what actually matters? Whether you call yourself religious, spiritual, both, or neither, what really matters is this. Are you growing? Are you becoming more loving, more compassionate, more conscious? Are you healing your wounds? Are you facing your shadows? Are you connecting to something greater than your ego? Are you experiencing the divine, the sacred, the transcendent in whatever way makes sense to you? Are you living with integrity? Are your beliefs and your actions aligned? Are you treating yourself and others with kindness? Are you asking the big questions? Why am I here? What is my purpose? How do I want to live? What happens after death? What is the nature of reality? Those are the questions that matter. Not whether you do it within a church or outside of one, not whether you follow a traditional path or forge your own. The label doesn't matter, the experience does. Finding your path. So if you're watching this and wondering where you fit, here's my advice. Explore. Be honest with yourself about what resonates and what doesn't. If you grew up religious but it doesn't feel right anymore, that's okay. You're allowed to grow beyond what you were taught. If you grew up without religion and you're curious about spirituality, explore that. Read different traditions. Try different practices. See what speaks to your soul. If you're deeply rooted in a religious tradition and it brings you genuine connection and growth, honor that. Don't let anyone tell you that you need to leave it to be spiritual. If you're creating your own spiritual path outside of organized religion, do it with intention. Don't just rebel against structure. Create your own structure. Commit to practices. Seek wisdom. Go deep. You might find that you're religious and spiritual. You follow a tradition, but you also have your own personal practices and direct experiences. You might be spiritual but not religious. You have a rich inner life. You meditate. You connect to nature. You seek truth. But you don't identify with any particular religion. You might even find that you're neither. Maybe you're an atheist or agnostic, but you still wonder about meaning and purpose and how to live a good life. That questioning itself is a kind of spiritual seeking. The point is, your path is yours. Nobody else can walk it for you, and you don't owe anyone an explanation for the path you choose. The invitation, whether you come to spirituality through religion or you find it on your own, the invitation is the same. Wake up, become conscious, connect to something greater than yourself, love more deeply, live more authentically, seek truth, face your darkness, embrace your light, question everything but also be open to mystery. Don't believe something just because someone told you to, but also don't dismiss something just because you don't understand it yet. Find practices that genuinely connect you to the divine, to your higher self, to the source of all being. Whether that's prayer or meditation, church or nature walks, scripture study or silent contemplation, rituals or spontaneous spiritual experiences, do what brings you home to yourself and to the sacred. At the end of the day, religion and spirituality are both attempting to answer the same fundamental human questions. Who am I? Why am I here? What is the nature of existence? How should I live? What happens when I die? Religion says, here's what our tradition has discovered over thousands of years. Here's what the enlightened ones, the prophets, the sages have taught. Follow this path and you'll find the answers. Spirituality says, look within, experience directly. Your own soul knows the truth. Trust your inner guidance and your personal experience of the divine. Both can lead you home. Both can transform your life. Both can connect you to the sacred. The question isn't which one is right. The question is which one or which combination of both serves your growth, your awakening, your journey home to your true self. If this video helped clarify the difference between religion and spirituality for you, I'd love if you gave it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. We're creating a community here of people who want to explore these deep questions with honesty and openness. And I'm really curious. Drop a comment below and tell me, do you identify as religious, spiritual, both, or neither? And why? What's your path? I read every comment and I love hearing your perspectives. Remember, your spiritual journey is uniquely yours. Honor it, trust it, and keep exploring. Until next time, stay curious, stay open, and keep seeking truth wherever it leads you. Namaste.